This is the solution to absolutely every problem. And disposal doesn't work. That was an instant manifesting win. They can actually be the best thing to happen to you in your life. The thoughts that come up immediately when I think about doing it are pretty limiting. This is the first time I'm speaking about using a GLP-1. Medical stuff can be so scary. I'm their good luck charm. Every game that I'm at, they're gonna win. I don't care. Anyways, let's go. Yes, that is me with Art the Clown. I am obsessed. He is daddy. Bye, Pasha. It is 3:30 in the morning. And I went into my bedroom to get ready for bed, and look what I did to myself. Say hello, doggy. Look what I've done to I'm trying to embody a person who has a clean apartment at all times because I value it and I love living in a clean space, but this is how it starts. Like, this is how it starts. 3:30 a.m. I don't want to put away my laundry. But if I don't do it right now, it's gonna be like a week before it happens and I'll be sleeping on top of laundry. We're gonna do it. We're getting it done. It's done. I did it. I did it. Good morning. Except it isn't morning. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I stayed up until 5 a.m. That was not on purpose. I do not live that kind of lifestyle. And I feel hungover. What? I feel hungover. I did not have a lick of alcohol yesterday, not a drop. And I woke up to unpleasantness in my kitchen. I'll show it to you. If you get squeamish or yuck about like dirty water or like gross stuff, don't watch. But so my kitchen sink is flooded and all of the contents of the disposal came up and disposal doesn't work. So I put in a maintenance request, obviously. Luckily, I have the day off today, technically, so I can loaf around feeling hungover and hopefully go to bed early tonight because I don't have the day off tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna stay at home, do things that I need to do at home, and not worry about trying to like be a person today. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So this is gonna be like ultra cozy because I don't feel very well. And when I don't feel very well, I like to make things as cozy as possible for myself so that I can feel as better as possible. I am happy to report that all is right with the world and I now have a working disposal. It's so clean and it works. Yay! And since this is a channel talking about manifesting, that was an instant manifesting win because I put in the order request and I have in the past had experience with them when I wasn't necessarily concerned about the timing, that it's taken days for them to get back to me. So I intended and I thought and I envisioned that they would come take care of it today and everything was going to be just fine, and they did. Instant manifesting win. Good morning, and Wednesday is the start of my work week. I don't work in an office on Wednesday though, but I do have to work today. I am very excited for the day when content creation will be my career and I can have full freedom over what I do in a day, but that day is not today, although I am embodying it as though it were today by making content because that is what I would be doing when content is my career. Anyway. So I'm still recovering from being up until 5 a.m. the other night, I think, because I am dog tired today. So what we're gonna do to combat the tired's is we're gonna mix up a little morning brew of pre-workout that'll get a little zing in my step. We're gonna do that and then go to the gym, do some work, and then one of the music groups that I play in is actually the marching band for the Washington Commanders football team. It's very weird to see an NFL paycheck come into my bank account every couple weeks, but super cool too. One day I'll tell you about how I manifested that because that's a pretty fun story. We have rehearsal tonight. And apparently there's going to be some sort of like media outlets there, so we all have to wear our uniforms and, well, not our uniform, but our tracksuit uniforms and go and get pretty pictures taken or something. I'm not sure. But I have a lot to get done today. It always feels like it's such a short amount of time to get things done on Wednesdays. Also, I'm proud of myself because my kitchen and counters and all of that are still clean a few days later. I did that on Saturday and it is now Wednesday. I mean, I'm gonna give myself props whenever I can, but if you've ever been through a breakup that made you sad and letting things and keeping things clean was a struggle for you afterward, or that was like your pattern of like just kind of letting things go in terms of cleanliness, then you can relate, and I'm really proud of this. It may not be much for some people, but for me, it is an important accomplishment. All right, let's go. Figure while I'm sitting here drinking my pre-workout and still sort of waking up, we could talk a little bit about some manifesting topics. One topic that is important to me in particular is the idea of dreams and pursuing your dreams in your life and what that means and what are dreams even. I think without dreams, life gets really hard and things happen in life that are just part of life that are so impermanent and so easy to change if only we can get our mind in the mindset where whatever thing is showing up in front of us. I live near an airport where when things show up in front of us that appear just like incredibly unfavorable, they can actually be the best thing to happen to you in your life. When I was sexually assaulted back in 2018, that sent my life in a severe downward spiral for a short while. And I say short, it didn't feel short at the time, but in the grand scheme of my life, it was short. And thankfully, because of the downward spiral that I was in, the absolute hell of despair that I was in, I went searching for something that would give me hope. And I found the law of assumption, and it matched. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for. This is the solution to absolutely every problem. The solution is not out here. The solution is in here. And I had created a lot of problems for myself after the sexual assault because of the mindset that I was in and the actions that I was taking due to that mindset. The bad thing happens for the amount of time that it happens. And then the suffering that we endure afterward, a lot of our suffering can be mitigated by choices in our mind. Now, I'm not saying that to downplay my assault and the effect that it had on me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that the choices that we make about the meaning of it afterward. So for example, one of the meanings that I gave it that was not a helpful meaning is that I can't trust anybody, because, you hear at the time I was subscribing to a lot of these thoughts, like at the time, men are not safe. And I'm sure there's a lot of people watching that right now that would agree with that statement. I didn't necessarily have that ingrained belief, but I didn't disagree with it either. And then the person that assaulted me was a woman. And so I had like a general societal belief at the time that men are generally unsafe and men will harm you. And then the belief that I had that women were generally safe was taken away. That was my perception at the time by the assault. And so then the overall belief was it can happen from anybody and it can happen at any time and no one is trustworthy. It's not a helpful belief because the amount of people that will come in and out of your life that are trustworthy is not zero. And while I currently have a belief that trust is precious and I don't give trust out where it's not deserved, So if someone breaks my trust, obviously I'm not going to continue trusting them, which I have done in the past also. But the blanket statement that nobody is trustworthy and that the world is unsafe is not a helpful belief. And the very worst thing that has ever happened to me ended up being the catalyst for the very best things that have ever happened to me. Since my assault and the very deep downward spiral that I went on towards the bottom, and when I say bottom, I mean pretty bottom. I was in the process of abusing alcohol to the point where I did not have control over that anymore. I had gained 80 pounds of weight and there was no sign of stopping. I had burnt down every relationship in my life at the time. I got divorced. I was 3 months behind on rent. The only thing that I was able to keep afloat at that time was PA school, and thank God for that, because I had one shot at that and I was able to keep my studies up. Now, did I do as well as I would have otherwise? I don't know. I'll never know. I know that when I applied my mind, when I applied myself, I was an excellent student, which is how I got into Yale in the first place. But regardless, that was the only thing that I was able to keep from sinking in my life. And thank God, because that was my ticket to better income. And I really needed that because I was literally facing eviction. So the bad circumstances of your life, whether they are minimal, like last week when I was majorly annoyed at my work situation, the more frustration I have with my 9 to 5, the more motivation I will have to turn my content creation into my career. So anything bad or negative in your circumstances that happens to you, it can always work out for your highest good if you apply your mind in that direction. You have to start rewarding your brain for strength, for resilience, for discipline, for dreaming, for positivity, for optimism, no matter what the circumstances actually look like. And once you can start doing that, then the trajectory that your life can go is absolutely unstoppable in the best possible directions. That was long and ranty, but I think it's important information. I think it needs to be said. And I'm curious to know, what experiences in your life did you think would absolutely break you, that when you came back from it, you came back 10 times better? And are you currently in a situation that is absolutely breaking you, which is what has led you to my content? Because that's how I was led to the law of assumption, is I was in a situation that was absolutely breaking me. And had I not found the law of assumption, had I not been searching for something that would give me hope, I probably wouldn't be here today. I was in that much despair. So if you find that you're in that much despair right now, I have been there. Please do not give up. Please listen to the words that I am saying, is that the situation that you are in right now is temporary if you allow it to be, if you do not perpetuate it with your thoughts, and it can be the catalyst for the absolute best changes that you have ever experienced in your life. Okay. Love you. Okay, I'm about to take my tirzepatide shot for the week. Now, this is the first time I'm speaking about using a GLP-1 on social media. I've been resistant to this for a long time because it's my medical information, right? And no one has any rights to my medical information but me. However, I think there is a lot of fear surrounded using a GLP-1 that is just not warranted. And I think by sharing it with you, I'm just letting you into a little bit more of an authentic version of myself. And so that's what I aim to do. So as I said in my previous video and in many other videos, I've lost over 100 pounds using the law of assumption. The first 50 pounds I lost, I just lost the weight. I wasn't doing anything in particular. I happened to be looking for a job as a PA after I lost that 50 pounds, and I saw a job opening at a weight loss clinic, and I was like, oh man, that's right up my alley, meaning I feel passionately about weight loss. I had lost 100 pounds in college because I wanted to join the army, and I was very much not going to be able to join the army at the weight that I was at. So I lost 100 pounds to join the army. So I had lost massive amount of weight in the past, and I had kept it off, not using any medication, just doing the work. And I kept most of that off. I was able to meet the Army standards for body fat percentage for the 12 years that I was in the service. It was a struggle though, I will say. It was, this was well before I knew about the law of assumption, so at the time I perceived it as a really hard thing to do, but I was really proud of myself for it. When I got sexually assaulted, part of the repercussions of that was I developed binge eating disorder, and gained like 80 pounds of trauma weight. And so after I lost the first 50 pounds of that, I happened to see this job opening at a weight loss clinic. And I was like, oh man, I have a lot of compassion in my heart for people who would come to this clinic. I'm curious to know what it's about. And this was around the time that compounded GLP-1s were being made available for people who could not get insurance coverage for brand name GLP-1s from their medical providers. And by the time I got to this clinic, that had been available for weight loss for about, I think it had been a little bit yet less than a year, maybe about 7 or 8 months by the time I was employed by this clinic. So I learned everything I needed to know in order to be able to safely prescribe it. And because I was on my own weight loss journey, I was like, well, I'm curious what the experience is like for my patients. So I'm on my own weight loss journey. Let me just start taking this as well, because I wanted to know what the side effects felt like. I wanted to know what the hunger suppression felt like, because every bit of information that I had about the medication was useful to me in discussing this with my patients. And I got such great feedback from my patients because I was sharing this experience with them. It was really wonderful. I do not work at the weight loss clinic anymore, but during the time that I worked there, I treated about 2,000 people on compounded GLP-1s, and I would say about 98% of people successfully lost weight, myself included. And now that I don't work at a weight loss clinic anymore, after I left the weight loss clinic, I lost access to my compounded GLP-1. So I came off of it for about 8 months or so. And I also changed some mental health medications that I was on, because I do have PTSD from my sexual assault. And so the combination of coming off of that medication, the change in my mental health medications, and also the underlying belief that I have in medicine, because remember, I was fully indoctrinated into medicine as a PA before I learned about the law of assumption. So my belief in these things also meant that I had an underlying belief, and probably still have, although I'm working on deconstructing it, that once you come off of a GLP-1 medication, as your body no longer has access to the GLP-1 that it had been relying on for multiple changes to your endocrine system, that some people will experience weight regain. And I also have a belief based on my indoctrination into medicine that certain medications associated with mental health have a side effect of weight gain. And so this combination of things led me to regain some of the weight that I had lost. Now, luckily, I didn't regain everything. I was able to find compounding GLP-1 from a source that appears reputable to me and resume my treatment of that. And then I also spoke to my psychiatrist, and we switched me off of the weight gain side effect medication for my mental health. And now I'm back in a situation where the weight is coming off again. So it's important to understand that your beliefs about something can impact you positively or negatively. In my case, my beliefs about medications impacted me negatively when the medication regimen that I was on changed. You don't necessarily have to combat the beliefs, but you do have to get yourself in a situation where your beliefs are working favorably for you. So I spoke to my psychiatrist about my concerns, and we changed my medications, and now I'm on a medication that doesn't have weight gain as a side effect. So that's a positive use of my beliefs. And then I went and found a supplier for my GLP-1 that I find to be trustworthy based on my experience and knowledge prescribing GLP-1s. So my beliefs in the long run are working in my favor. I feel so much better in general now than I did when I was on a different medication regimen and off my GLP-1. And so I'm happy that I was able to work out a situation now where I can be back on medications that are working for me and not giving me side effects that I don't want. So please understand, it's my belief in these systems in medication that is making it work or not work for me. It is not necessarily the medication itself. And I can say that with some confidence because when I was working at the weight loss clinic, I had a really good sample size of people, and I actually had some pretty good discussions with people on a daily basis about their beliefs about weight loss. And there were people who came in who believed 100% that this medication would work for them because they had friends that used it and their weight loss went great. And I had people come in who were extremely skeptical of the medication, but open to anything that might work for them, because previously nothing had worked for them. And their belief in the possibility of this working for them led to weight loss. And then we had people come in who they had this very negative mindset where nothing had ever worked, nothing was ever going to work. They were doomed to be fat forever and in a body that they didn't like. And sure enough, as they took this medication, they would poo-poo every weight loss success they had. So say they lost a pound in a week, that was never good enough. And some people, like, they didn't even ever acknowledge any benefit from the medication whatsoever. And it was so interesting to see, because I was well into my practice of law of assumption by this time, it was so interesting to see how these people approached weight loss in their mind and whether or not GLP-1 medication would work for them. Some people had good success with it and stopped taking it because they had a belief that they were doomed to be fat and unhappy. And so even though they had success on the medication, they would stop coming to the clinic, or they would self-sabotage in some way. So it's not the GLP-1 necessarily that makes people win at getting the body of their dreams. It is their belief in their own ability to get the body of their dreams that has led them to the medication that is working for them, that allows them to implement the lifestyle changes that they believe that will work for them. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope this is making sense to you. GLP-1s, from a purely 3D standpoint, have such great research and they are such great medications. But nothing matters. There's a lot of really great ways to lose weight, but none of that matters if you don't believe in yourself and your own ability to do it. So weight loss surgery is a very effective way to lose weight, but I can't tell you how many people came into my clinic after failing weight loss surgery and gaining all their weight back and then some, because of their own beliefs about themselves and their ability to lose the weight they want to permanently, and their decisions in their life based upon that belief. So that was really long-winded, but anyways, I'm about to take my tirzepatide. So yes, I use GLP-1. I have for part of my 100+ pound weight loss, but not all of it. And that's an okay belief to have because I'm making the belief work in my favor. You understand, the law of assumption is not necessarily you have to deconstruct all your beliefs. It is, are your beliefs working in your favor and getting you towards what you want, or are they not? And in my case, yes, it is. So I'll show you me getting my shot together. We'll walk through taking my shot. You do not need gloves for this because you're not going to be touching anything that you sterilized with alcohol. So gloves are not necessary. Let it air dry. Do not blow on it because you are blowing bacteria on a wet, sticky surface from inside your mouth and you're recontaminating the area. Just let it dry. All right, it should be dry now. And I make a big spot, that way I don't have to worry about remembering where I got. So you notice how I don't need gloves because I haven't touched anything that I sterilized. Boom, all done. Since we're here and there's nobody in the gym, I was thinking about what do I want to set as goals for myself for 2025. Some people, I feel like some people really hate on New Year's resolutions. I love any opportunity to start fresh, to think freshly and new about a topic, so I happen to love them. So one of the things I would love to do by the end of 2025 is quit my job and work for myself. I have always wanted to be a successful entrepreneur, but I had a lot of limiting beliefs that I'm deconstructing about that, about safety as an entrepreneur, and also like my own capabilities of being the kind of entrepreneur that I want to be. So I'm just deconstructing that all the way. And I've been working on deciding how I want to impact the world, what that looks like for me on a daily basis, what I can reasonably keep up with in terms of content creation, what kind of voice I have, how can I be of service to the world in a way that fulfills me and also earns me enough money that I can do it full time. And that process has been ongoing for about the last year and a half at this point, since like late 2023. And so my intent is that in 2025, I want to be able to quit my job, want to replace my income. I have a pretty good income, so I'm disciplining my thoughts pretty heavily about that, because the thoughts that come up immediately when I think about doing it are pretty limiting. And that's fine, because now I just know what I need to think opposite from or think logically against. I would also like to be able to have my excess skin removed in 2025. Now, could I manifest that away with my thoughts? Yes, technically I could. Again, I have a really deep indoctrination in medicine, and would it be easier for me to manifest skin removal surgery, or would it be easier for me to manifest the tightening back up of my skin? Well, at this point, I'm not necessarily specifying that my skin couldn't tighten up on its own as I continue to lose fat, but the likelihood of that is actually small compared to being able to actually get just a surgery to correct it, in terms of like how much belief would each thing take. So the way that I'm going to be focusing on that is to think thoughts related to like the outcome that I want, and not necessarily the method of outcome. But I have already sort of a preconceived notion that I'll need surgery to have the outcome, and that doesn't bother me because the outcome is the outcome. I don't mind scars. In fact, after I lost my 100 pounds before, when I joined the Army, I was blessed enough to be able to get skin removal surgery while I was in the Army in my tummy, to get rid of the extra that was on my tummy. And that was honestly like the best thing that I have ever done for my confidence and for my just like comfort in clothing and in life. So I don't mind the idea of having my arms and my thighs done also, but if my skin tightens up enough that I don't need to, once I get to the amount of body fat that I would like to have, then I don't need to, but we'll see. I have to tell you, manifesting success, I just got this text message from my friend. So my very best friend in the whole world had some medical scares recently, and there was fear of cancer and like she'd have to have surgery that she didn't really want to have, that would not only impact her current life but future life. She really didn't want to have the surgery, and I've been actively manifesting for results on cancer testing to be normal this has probably been going on for like over a year now. And she just sent me a text message that said cells were normal and they want to follow up with her in June. Medical stuff can be so scary. And when you get bad news, it can be so hard, so hard to get your mind in a place where you can think of yourself as being healthy, and of these whatever bad results being transient and not permanent results. And I just can't tell you how happy I am that those results were normal for her, because it's been over a year now, and I'm so happy for her.
Had more of your smile. What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart.
Okay, I am done with my post-workout drink and breakfast, and I'm going to show you my sort of like shower wellness routine. I have invested a lot of money into myself and my wellness and my weight loss and my overall general sense of well-being over the last several years, that is one place that I value putting my money. There are things that I'm choosing to put my money into that I believe are valuable for me based on my goals and the research that I've read about it. So I'm going to take you through a little bit of that this morning. I'm about to take my shower. I just got a phone call related to Monday's mammogram, and this is I'm so glad that I'm vlogging because this is such a perfect opportunity to manifesting health outcomes. So I got a phone call that the radiologist who read my mammogram would like me to come back in for further imaging, and they are not able to get me in for an appointment until mid-January. And this is about how it happened last year also, was it took a long time for me to be able to get in for my follow-up, which means that's a long time for your brain to spiral in negative outcomes or worry or fear. So let's talk about how I'm going to be dealing with this for the next month or so. Number one, luckily, last year the same thing happened, and they determined that it was like overwhelmingly likely that it was completely benign, and it's just something that they wanted to keep an eye on to make sure that there aren't any, changes to it that would make it suspicious for being cancer. So the chances are good that the radiologist that is reading it now is not the same radiologist that read it last year. And even though they probably looked at the medical notes from last year, it's always better from a provider standpoint and for a patient standpoint to on the side of caution. It would be better to retest and determine that it's absolutely the same as it was before than to assume that nothing has changed and not retest, right? From the standpoint of good medical care. So this year, when I got the call, I had that history, that background of like, okay, probably this is nothing, and they just want to like recheck it and make sure that everything is good. They'll do an ultrasound and everything will be fine. Or what if this time it has changed? And that is all completely logical and reasonable fear, especially like I said, based on the history of my mom's cancer, based on my age and my gender, and based on just in general the brain's concern with keeping us safe. It is reasonable for the brain to come knocking and be like, excuse me, are we sure that everything is okay? What are we going to do if everything is not okay? And the approach that I'm going to be taking in the next month is this. Every time the thought of my breast health comes to mind, I'm going to call on last year's discussion with the doctor that everything is fine and they just want to keep an eye on it. There's no evidence of anything suspicious for cancer. So that's going to be the number one thing I refer back to chill out my brain. Number two, I have not constant, but I have recurring affirmations that I use for my general health that I always get good news for the doctor. Number one is one affirmation that I use. Number two is that I'm aging backwards and my health keeps getting better. And those two affirmations are important because they cover a variety of possible health outcomes, right? Or possible health scares that could occur. I treat my body well, and I eat well, and I do good things for myself. And I also take care of my mental health. I also get enough rest. I also do things in the 3D that are supportive of longevity and good health. And these are all things that my brain can rely on to help me from spiraling. So that's how I'm going to be handling it in the coming month. That I always get great news from the doctor. My health keeps getting better and better. The majority, like the most likely outcome of this is that it's the same as last year, because there was nothing suspicious about it last year, and they just want to double check and follow up on it because that is responsible recommendation from a healthcare provider to a patient. It is irresponsible if they see something abnormal on an imaging study to just ignore it because last year it was fine. That is irresponsible. So just because they called me back to have more imaging doesn't mean that anything is going to be different than last year or anything is going to be wrong. This is how you manage uncertainty with healthcare outcomes or health scares. And, I'll be here in January to tell you how the follow-up goes. If it goes differently than that, then I will still have an approach that whatever is happening, whatever shows up in my 3D is favorable for me in some way. It will benefit me in some way. And I may not know how that is, but it will. And that's going to be the approach I take if something is different or abnormal in January. But I intend that everything is fine, just like last year, and they're just being responsible providers, making sure that I have the follow-up care that is best to recommend. So that's where we're at. Well, it's time to go to commander's rehearsal. I'm in my little tracksuit. I'm geeking, but yeah, I don't even care about football, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just fun. But like, look at the back. Marching band. It's supposed to be cold out tonight and rainy, which I don't love, but I've got a cute beanie. One of the football game giveaways, fan giveaways, was this cute little Raise Hail scarf, decked out. But talk to you soon. I won't get back until pretty late tonight, so I probably won't update you about anything until tomorrow. Good morning. I have to talk a little bit quiet because I'm at work and the walls are very thin, but I have a near instant manifestation success story for you. I got home from rehearsal pretty late last night. I didn't go to bed until like 2 a.m. and I have to get up at 6:20 to get to work on time, and morning came very fast and I'm very tired. And in fact, when I did my lumen this morning, even though I ate like normal and didn't eat like a crazy amount of carbs yesterday, I woke up in carbohydrate burn, and that can happen when you don't get enough sleep. So I knew that from medical school, but just seeing that like show up on the lumen result is interesting. Like, I woke up not burning fat simply because I did not get enough sleep, and my cortisol levels go up in that case, and it just switches your body's metabolism. So get enough rest. Anyways, so on the way in this morning, I was just dog tired, and I technically work 12-hour shifts when on the days that I'm in the office. It doesn't often actually end up being 12 hours. But anyways, long story short, on the way in, I was thinking to myself, I don't know how, but somehow something's gonna work out for me today that makes this day really easy on me, so I don't have to slog through a really hard day being this tired. I got into work, I turned on my computer, I looked at my morning veterans canceled, and I don't have a veteran until 2 o'clock today. And that means that I have a lot of time to get other work done that I've been behind on. And so it's the literal best possible outcome for what I wanted. Thankful for it. So that's my little mini instant manifestation success story for you. See you soon. I'm so happy I get to go home while it's still light out. It's the best day ever at work. It's time for an update on... I feel like I just keep calling him like the man that I just broke up with, but like, should give him a name, right? Like, it's weird to keep referring to him without a name. I don't want to refer to him as his name though. Let's see. I'm going to refer to him as Pookie. So I had an organizational meeting last night, and Pookie was there, and I got some really good feedback about my own self-concept from the interaction, and I want to share with you how you can apply this to your own relationships and self-concept and whatever you're going through with someone else. So I saw him at the organizational meeting last night, and we ended up being able to talk for a while afterward, and we sort of did like the small talk thing for a while and kind of caught up with each other, and then the conversation sort of like naturally went a little bit deeper than that. Also, I ran out of eyebrow pencil before like last week's video. I replenished it, and I'm just looking at myself in the viewfinder, and I'm so happy. Like, penciling in my eyebrows makes me so much happier about all of this. Anyways, so we ended up talking, and he was asking like, how am I doing related. I mean, he didn't ask specifically, but he asked, how am I doing? I asked, in what context? And he said, whatever you want to share with me. So we ended up just sort of going deeper into the topic and, talking about how each of us was after the breakup. And he said something to me that I thought was very interesting and gave me a lot to think about in terms of my relationship beliefs and my own self-concept, and I think this will be really helpful. So he said that part of the reason that he was not giving me the time and attention that I want in a relationship is because he was afraid of getting hurt. And to give a little bit more context as to why that might be, he has always been very put me on the pedestal. He would routinely say sometimes I just want to pinch myself that you're real and you're here with me. And so there was a lot of adoration from him, which I loved. That made me super happy. I want to be adored by the man that I'm with. And to hear him say that part of the reason that he didn't give me what I wanted was because he was afraid of getting hurt makes sense to me in the context of, if he's put me up on a pedestal, then that I perceive to be better than him or a better fit for me than him, I could obviously leave him for that person. And discussing that with him brought up a lot of things for me, but it really got me thinking about, what is this saying to me about my beliefs and my self-concept? Number one, it's saying that my self-concept is high because I have easily and effortlessly cultivated a relationship with this man where he adores me. He truly adores me, which is part of the self-concept that I have worked to instill. I didn't always have this, you know what I mean? I didn't always feel this way about myself. In fact, the last relationship that I was in that was so terrible and so bad, my therapist was like, "Are you familiar with the term codependent?" And if that tells you anything. So, for him to say back to me that essentially he has put me on this pedestal of being so amazing and so beautiful and so wonderful, that if he really goes all in and gives me the kind of relationship that I want and that I deserve, that he might be the one to get deeply, deeply hurt. And therefore, he sort of self-sabotaged to me. So that's number two, is how I responded, how my brain automatically, the automatic thoughts are the best ones to delve into, because they are an immediate manifestation of your beliefs about yourself, the world, and the people in it. So my immediate thought when he had admitted this to me, he also said that he didn't really understand that was happening at the time, but he always had a fear. And we talked about this fairly early on. He, kind of relationship fears. And he said that he was afraid that I was going to really hurt him, which of course I had no intention of doing, but my train of thought just derailed. Oh, I remember. My automatic thought was, well, if it's just a matter of fear, if you're just scared, we can work through that. We can fix it. We can overcome this. That was my automatic thought. And on the face value, that's fine. However, we're not in a long-term committed relationship. This man is not my husband. There is no obligation. There's no obligation or incentive for me to work through it with this person, right? The self-concept, the kind of woman that I envision myself being now, would not want to try harder after hearing that her man sabotaged the relationship out of his own fears, right? That's what he's telling me. I want a man who is confident in his ability to provide for me, to protect me, to be a safe space for me in this world that we live in. And I should be the priority to him, not his own insecurities. That's the woman that I would rather be. And so when the automatic thought came up, well, we can fix that, we can overcome fear. If we had been married for 20 years and some sort of revelation like that came up, that'd be a different story, because I have already committed to that man. But this man, we were in dating stages and there was no commitment like that. We had not gotten to the place of commitment yet. In fact, he brought up the idea of commitment with me, and when I said that was something that I'm interested in and that I would like, that's when his availability started to go down. And so my self-concept being incompatible with a man who is that fearful is the actual truth of the matter. And so my codependent brain from previous relationship and PTSD and people pleasing, these are all old aspects of self-concept that I don't actually want to be anymore. The new self-concept that I have is incompatible with attraction to that. That would be a turnoff to that woman and a red flag, because I'm looking for a man who can provide me with safety and security and self-confidence and prioritizing me. And what he showed me was that he was prioritizing himself, but not even just himself. He was prioritizing his insecurities about me because he had placed me on this pedestal. And I want to share that with you because this is such an important realization. The 3D that you're looking at, it would be really easy in a less mature, like an earlier form of me, a less mature, a less evolved, a less grown, less good version of me would have said, well, the obvious manifestation, like the obvious thought change should be, well, he's saying that he's afraid that I'm going to hurt him. I have no intention of hurting him. I'll just assume that he's past that now and that we could get over things. That, in my mind, is sure, it's possible to do that, right? It's the law of assumption. Anything you assume is going to be the truth. However, looking on a deeper level, what is it saying about my self-concept that his inability to me with what I just say that I want makes me want to try harder? Why do I want to try harder for a man who has verbally confirmed and actively sabotaged a relationship through neglect? Now, not severe neglect. It wasn't like he ghosted me. It wasn't like that. But like we had talked about our relationship needs. He knew what I needed and then began to sabotage that for fear of being hurt. Why on earth would I want to work harder to preserve a relationship with that man? It's incompatible with the self-concept that I prefer to have. And that is higher level manifesting. That is a much more mature way of observing your 3D circumstances and determining what the next steps in your law of assumption, your mindset, your affirmation should be. So for me to see that the automatic thought that came up was like, well, we can fix that, is showing me that there are still elements of codependency that may want to pop out. That what he is reflecting in me is an old codependent version of me. And actually the new version, the better, more secure woman who knows her worth, who knows her value, who knows what she deserves from a man and who automatically inspires that, would not in any way be interested in a man who couldn't provide her with what she wanted. And so these are important things for you as you're looking at your 3D and deciding on what to change. If you're looking to change the outside circumstances and thinking about like, okay, your specific person is behaving in a way that makes you want to try harder to change them. Why? What is that actually? Is that in line with the self-concept that you want to have? Self-concept is not the only thing that manifests, but it is the most important thing. And how you get to interact with other people in this world is the most important thing, I believe. You get to decide for you. But if you're so busy worried about putting out the fires of your relationship, like, well, I can fix that thing, let me just tweak that area, versus deciding, why am I wanting to pursue this when it's obviously showing me that it's incompatible with a self-concept of high worth, high self-esteem, and high value. So I'm working through those thoughts instead of working through thoughts like, well, he's past that now and we can make it work. Which may be true, like that all may be how this pans out in the end. I'm concerned with ending up with a man who meets all of my desires and can provide me with the safety and protection and care and love that I actually deserve and want to interact with, and not necessarily helping someone through their fear because they've put me on a pedestal where I'm capable of causing them so much hurt and pain. I'm interested in your thoughts on this. These ideas kind of thinking through my head kept me up until about scratch that. I'm interested to know if you can tell the difference in maturity between the two approaches. Are either of them right? No, because again, it's your assumption, it's your thoughts. You decide what to think about everything that happens to you and what the truth of the matter is. But I feel like if you can view it from a self-concept standpoint and determine whether the compatibility is there compared to, oh, I can change that circumstance, I just think that's a far more mature approach to manifesting. Tell me your thoughts. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I'm feeling anxious, and this happens to me sometimes when it just feels like too much things Since being diagnosed with PTSD, I have noticed that I will feel sensory or emotional overwhelm easier than I did before I was diagnosed with PTSD. And you'll notice that I don't renounce my diagnosis of PTSD as part of my law of assumption journey. I haven't yet felt that my PTSD has held me back from anything that I want to do. It's simply a companion that I have that alters the way that I respond to the world in a different way than before I was diagnosed with PTSD. I don't personally think that there's much value in completely deconstructing every aspect of who you are and what has happened to you in life. I prefer to take the approach of gratitude. So I try to have gratitude for the experiences and the medical conditions and the diagnoses that I've received, because they have all helped shape me into the person that I am right now, who is wonderful and amazing and in many, many, many ways living her dream life, and it's only getting better and better every day. I felt a lot of pressure when I first learned about the law of assumption to renounce every possible part of me that I could perceive as negative and just flip it. I have not found that to be necessary. The more I mature in the law of assumption, the more appreciation I have for the things that happened to me and how they shaped me, because as I get better and better, I'm able to take a more and more objective look at things and decide what it gets to mean for me, and not necessarily be so concerned with eliminating it from my experience the way that I did when I was first learning about the law of assumption and what to do with it and how to use it to change my thoughts. So I'm having an anxious girly moment. There's been a little too much things at work and a little too much things in my personal life, and in my current 3D reality, I don't have a person that I can come home and get a big hug from, even though that would feel really good right now. And so even though I'm crying and even though I feel sad in this moment and would really love somebody to be physically here in this moment to comfort me, I know that this is only a season, a temporary situation. I know that it doesn't reflect my ability to have the love and the support that I want. I know that even if I were in the relationship of my dreams, there would be times when I would be physically apart from the person and not be able to get the hug that I want. And so this moment right now, the facts of the situation are that I would really love a hug, and I won't be getting one in this moment. But the truth of the situation, I have so much to be thankful for. And there are so many wonderful aspects of my life that are exactly perfect in the way that I want them. And the parts that don't seem to be exactly perfect, such as this, are actually perfect in this moment, even if it doesn't look or feel that way right now. And so when I experience anxiety, I like to talk myself through it the way that I'm talking to you right now. And I like to write in my journal. This is my manifesting journal, one of my manifesting journals. I started this journal in 2021, and I just use it to just write affirmations. It helps focus my brain in the direction that I would rather it go, instead of allowing it to completely spiral out during times of anxiety or loneliness or fear. And that's what I'm gonna be doing now. I'm gonna just write some affirmations that help get me in a good mindset, as well as calming down my nervous system. So if you're watching this and feeling anxious today, maybe you can sit down with me and write some affirmations for yourself so that you can feel a bit better about your situation too. Thank you for sitting down with me while I do that and while I talk through that. I wish I had ever seen another coach do something like that. I think there's a lot of pressure in the manifesting community to be infallible and be perfect and never have a negative feeling or a negative thought. And maybe one day I'll get to that point. I don't think life would be very interesting if that were the case. I prefer to accept the thoughts and feelings come up as temporary and not accept them as reflections of anything true about myself if they aren't something that I would want to say is true about myself. For example, I don't like to say I'm an anxious person or I have anxiety, like an anxiety condition. I like to say I'm feeling anxiety right now. I do say I have PTSD condition. Again, I think that's part of what makes me uniquely equipped to work with certain people, so I don't denounce that part of my psyche, but I also don't lean into that as being a predominant feature of my reaction to the world. I feel better, and I also feel a little bit drained now, and that's okay. I think I'm going to get undressed from the day, do my nighttime wellness stuff like shower and do my red light therapy and do my Finch app and just do some good old-fashioned self-care. And then I think I might lay in bed and read or maybe watch YouTube for a little while. Done a lot of work today and I don't want to think work anymore. I think tomorrow I have a date. It's kind of an early date. We're meeting at 4. And I need to go to the gym in the morning. I need to find a time. And on Sunday I have a football game. I want to find a time where I can sit down and do 2025 goals with you. I might have to do that for next vlog. I might not be able to do it in this one if I want to get this out by a reasonable time, but that is on the horizon. I know there's like way mixed feelings about New Year's resolutions and goal setting and vision boards and all of that in the manifesting community, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I think this year I want to set up quarterly resolutions based on the book The 12-Week Year that I read a while back. What do you do? Do you do yearly? Do you do quarterly? Do you do monthly? How do you structure your growth in the different areas of your life? I'm curious to know. Please comment, because maybe you'll have an idea that I want to implement. Who knows? I'm gonna go take good care of myself. Good morning. It is Saturday. It is date day. And I thought I've got some things to get done today before my date, because it's an early date. And I thought we could talk about some manifesting ideas while I do those things. So right now I'm getting my pre-workout drink made. Got some multi-collagen powder that I'm gonna add in there. Let's talk about pre-date thoughts. Now, I always want to think and assume the best of people. That is how I want to live my life. So when I'm thinking about this date that I have coming up today, I am not thinking thoughts that are negative about this person, like worrying if he's gonna be a jerk, worrying if he's gonna do the right thing on the date, worrying if he's gonna show up or not. None of that is what is on my mind. When I am thinking about interactions with people, I don't have any reason to assume that we're not gonna have a great time. Pre-workout, what color should we do? I think I've done pink and I've done blue with you, so let's do orange. These are the Peachy Ink pre-workout pods. I love them. I love that I don't have to scoop anything and that I can just get my little pre-workout pod and drop it on the floor. Thankfully, my floor's clean right now. And thankfully, it's a pod and not a powder. So I can just take my pod and boop into my water. I wish all my supplements came in pre-packaged pods. Alas, they do not. Okay, she's ready to go. So this is the Sex on the Beach flavor. Cheers. It's also important that I choose to think empowering and positive thoughts about myself before this date. I always choose to think that I'm fun and I'm charming and I always look nice and I do the most I can with what I have. And I don't ever feel insecure going on a first date. I always feel comfortable and confident because I know that I'm super fun. I'm a delight to hang out with. Like, who wouldn't want to hang out with me? And I think that's a really important approach to take versus, are they gonna like me? That is gonna want to spend their life with me, is gonna think that I'm enough for them too. So I don't know how you approach your dating life, but it is far more peaceful of an existence in your spirit to assume the best of others and to choose confidence in yourself regardless of any feedback from that other person. You never have to see them again if it doesn't go well. I always try to frame first dates as just an opportunity to go and have a fun night and get to know somebody new. That's it. And if I like that person, if they sufficiently impress me, then I would consider going out with them again. If they don't, then it was a nice night getting to know somebody new. Also, unrelated to the date tonight, in the gym today, it's another push-up challenge day, and so I'll take you along with me for that, and we'll see how many push-ups I can do this week in the first set and total. Last time I did 12. Maybe I can do, I'll be happy with 13, but we can try for 15. And at the point that you're watching this maybe you can root for me and manifest for me and I'll be able to do 15. We'll see. I'll imagine that as I'm doing them, that you guys are rooting for me. Manifesting is fun, you guys. I think it can be tempting to only manifest the serious things and only manifest in a serious way. And I get it. There's a lot of things in your life that may feel very serious, but imagination is fun. Imagination and thinking favorably about yourself and your circumstances can be so fun. Do you think it's fun, or does it overwhelm you? When I was first manifesting, it overwhelmed me a lot. There were so many things in my life that were awful at the time. My finances, my relationships, my personal health, my body. There were a lot of things that felt very serious and were very bad at the time when I first learned about manifesting. So I totally get it. I felt a lot of personal internal pressure to fix everything because everything felt so miserable. And I want to encourage you, things will fix, like things will improve. And I think the best thing that I did was to take away time pressure. I saw all these videos about like manifest in 3 days and manifest in 24 hours, and that's all fine. Like those are fun challenges to do for yourself, right? Like there's nothing wrong with deciding that you want to be a person who can manifest a desired reality in like that. And I don't want to limit you with what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that by removing your focus on time and your concern about time, especially if you're new in manifesting or if you haven't been doing this for very long, your new thoughts and beliefs may be competing with some very old and ingrained patterns and beliefs that have been dictating the way that you behave and show up in your life for your entire life. And if you set about to change them in 3 days or less, it may happen. Like you may be able to get that to be the dominant thought that pushes out in that amount of time. Are you able to sustain it? And by removing time, you can just plant the seeds and keep watering them, and things will change. They have to. It's literally science. The reticular activating system in your brain will not allow you to see a reality that doesn't match what is inside your head. You simply cannot. It will filter everything else out. You won't be able to see it. And in the moment, things may feel really slow. I have felt like that before when I, had things that wanted to change. Like in the moment, things felt so slow. Like, why does it feel like nothing is happening? And looking back on it, I have only been doing this for 3 years. And I went from 3 months behind on rent facing eviction to now I have, at the time of filming, I have a $250,000 a year income. I have traveled internationally multiple times for the first time in over a decade. I lost all my trauma weight and am happier in my body every day and getting closer and closer to my ideal dream body every single day. I have moved to a city that meets my dream city requirements. It's by the water, it's walkable. Hello? Well, good morning, how are you? I asked him earlier this week if he would confirm with me the day of so that I know that plans didn't change. And he said, yes, I'm happy to do that. And so he just called and we had a nice little conversation, and I finished my pre-workout, and I'm gonna finish getting dressed and go to the gym and get sweaty and get ready for this date. So I'm just gonna start giving them names because I think it's difficult to not refer to somebody as a name. So the person that I broke up with, been calling him Pookie. So I'm gonna call this guy Schnookum. So I'm gonna go see Schnookums a little bit later and have a nice date, and I'll report back and let you know how it goes. My intentions for the date are as follows. I'm gonna have a great time no matter what. I know that I am radiant, magnetic, and alluring. I know that I'm a lot of fun to be with, and I anticipate that we'll have some fun conversation because we've already had good conversation just on the phone. And I intend that if it's a good fit from my perspective, if he sufficiently impresses me and shows me that he has qualities that I'm looking for in a man, that a second date will be an obvious choice for him to ask me on. So yeah, so I will let you know how it goes. See you soon. I almost forgot to do my lumen again before my workout. We're doing it though. So this is lumen, we're about to do it pre-workout, which is ideal. First thing in the morning and before the workout. That way I can know what changes have occurred after the workout. So check it, double tag the measurement as morning and pre-workout. Turn on the device, cap off, I'm ready. And then it says choose a workout, auto synced.
Inhale deeply through your lips. Hold your breath. Exhale in 3, 2,
1.
I got a 3, meaning I'm burning carbs at rest suggests that your glycogen levels are full and you have enough available energy to power a workout. You have enough carbs in your system to support a high intensity workout. No need to grab a snack. Take a breath 30 to 45 minutes after exercise to see how your body responds. When did I last eat? That whole thing was blurry. What time did I stop eating yesterday? I think it was around 9 or 10. All right, good deal. Now I did take that measurement after drinking pre-workout, so I'm not sure if the pre-workout concoction delivered some carbs and that is where the carbs are coming from, or if they are carbs from yesterday, because I did eat like medium carb day yesterday. It was like 130 or something like that, or it could be from the pre-workout. I won't know because I forgot to take it before the pre-workout. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be perfect. So, all right, I'm gonna go work out now. It's time for push-ups. Last week I did 12 push-ups in the first set. I'd like to do 15 this time, but I'll take 13. Improvement is what I'm looking for, not perfection, but 15 will be great. Wish me luck. Last week, I did 27 total, 12 in the first set, 8 in the second set, 7 in the third set. This week, I did 33 total, 15 in the first set, 9 in the second set, 9 in the third set. So 27 last week and 33 this week. We're doing it. Progress is great. I'm gonna go get ready for my date. Lord, don't let me flash. Done with the workout, I showered. I'm about to pop on some new lashes. We need to do our lumen because it's post-workout and we need to see how the workout affected the fat versus the carb burn. So we're gonna do our lumen. I have my post-workout drink here. We on it, we are moving. All right, so lumen, crank her up. So we're gonna do an after exercise.
Inhale deeply through your lumen. Hold your breath. Exhale in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I got a 2. We are back in fat burn, which means that I used all the carb stores in my muscles to support my workout, and now my body's in fat burn. So I'm gonna eat some food. They gave me, how much did they give me for? So I walked for an hour. They gave me 30 carbs and 10 grams of fat extra for that. And then I did about an hour and 15 minutes of weight training, and they gave me 75 carbs and 30 grams of protein for that. So it's gonna be a good day to go on a date and eat some yummy foods at a restaurant. But I got my post-workout drink here. I'm gonna log it real quick. This is breakfast, whey protein. Forgot to put collagen in it. Has to have the collagen. Okay. And then we're gonna have a Built strawberry puff bar, and that's good. Oh, I need to add the collagen. I was like, that looks low on protein. All right, perfect. All right, time to do lashes. I'm hungry. So today we're gonna do this guy. It has all the ones you need to go from inner corner to outer corner in one thing, versus like these black ones. They have a bunch of the same size. So you can use one over multiple lash applications, whereas this one is like a one and done. But these are called the eyeline. I like them because they do kind of look like eyeliner. Like that's the point, is they're supposed to like look like eyeliner, which is pretty cool. And if you were here last week, no, I did not charge I did not charge my lash mirror. Oops. I'm clearly better at one side than the other. Oh my. And if you're here hanging out with me, getting ready for my date, tell me, I'm curious to know, are you manifesting anything right now specifically? Is there something that you've got in your life that you want different? Are you manifesting more self-concept changes, intangible things? Are you manifesting tangibles? I'm curious. Plus, if you're manifesting something really good, I might want it too. Also, Christmas is coming up really close. By the time this gets published, it'll be like right up on you. I happen to be spending Christmas by myself this year, which is not ideal, but it happens. So I am doing my best to make the best of it. And so my man's is re-releasing into theaters on December 24th and 25th. So I'm gonna go see it on Christmas Eve, and they are adding extended footage. And I am so excited. I cannot accurately express to you how excited I am to see Terrifier 3 in theaters again with extended footage. And then on Christmas Day, I bought tickets to go see Nosferatu at Alamo Drafthouse because we have one of those near me, and I absolutely love it. They've got such good food there. I don't know, have you ever eaten at Alamo Drafthouse, or do you just, I mean, if you've been there for movies, have you ever eaten, or have you just gotten like popcorn? Because the food is like really good. And then I need to put adhesive on this because I'm gonna overlap them just by a little bit. And I'm excited about Nosferatu. I never saw the silent film, but I am intrigued by it. I love vampire stories. Yikes. I need to do this better. Excuse my gaping open mouth. It's like I don't have control over that. Oh no. Okay, and the nice thing about Lashify is the bond is flexible, so if you F it up, as long as you haven't like fused it, you can correct the situation, which I need to do in my case. While we're waiting on that to get tacky, come over to the left again. 2. All right, let's try again on the right side. Better. That was a lot of adhesive. Did not intend to put that much. Everything is fixable. There we go. Okay, back to the left. That was good. That was good. Adhesive. That was a good one. That was a good one. So if you're spending Christmas alone, or whatever holiday during the season that you would prefer to be with people, and you feel sad about it, that's okay. Because the facts of the matter may make you sad, but remember what the truth of the matter is. It's a temporary situation. This does not have to be the facts of the matter next Christmas. There's so much time for so many wonderful things to happen between now and then, and for so many wonderful people to come into your life. Come on. Okay. And remember, you get to decide the truth of the matter. So if you're feeling sad about the holidays this year, it's okay to feel sad. Comfort yourself during your sadness. It's beautiful to be a human, and having a range of emotional experiences is part of being a human. It's beautiful. Every time I feel sad about Pookie, I remind myself that I'm very happy, that I am so blessed that I had a relationship that was so good that I feel sad about it ending. That's a blessing. There's always a truth that you can assign that benefits you. It's okay. Oh man, we are crushing the lash application today. It is looking really good. I'm not always perfect with my lash application, but I'm feeling good about this. We're gonna overlap this last one a little bit more robustly. That's where my lashes are sparse, so I wanna give it a fighting chance of sticking. And if you're excited about the holidays, share in the comments what you're excited about. I have not been in the holiday spirit this year. As you can see, there's like everything that you've seen in my home, like there's no Christmas decorations. I didn't do any Christmas decorations this year. I even bought some holiday books to read and just didn't want to. I don't know, just wasn't feeling it this year. And that's okay. So if you have something that you're excited about, I would love to know, to be excited vicariously through you. And it's okay that right now things aren't perfect in my situation. I believe that next year will be much better in terms of what I would like to experience in a holiday season. It's important to never get too down on your current circumstances because they're just temporary anyway, and they're an old, like they're a reflection of old parts of you that may not even be the truth of the matter for you anymore, and they're just kind of playing out, and it's fine. All right, left is completely done. Got 2 more to do on the right, and then we'll do a little close-up after I fuse them. I need to leave at 3 o'clock and it's 2:10. I think that's enough time to blow dry my hair, do makeup, get smelling good, and leave. Sure. Plenty of time. I love these ones so much. I think they're so subtle, but so pretty. I feel like this whole time I've been blurred. If that's true, I apologize. I don't know. All right, adhesive on the last one, and then application. And while we're doing that, while we're waiting on the adhesive to get tacky on that side, we'll put the Wandums on and fuse the left. And I'm thinking about heavily editing some of the like blank spaces in this. But if you like I like watching people do things like this. Like I find it soothing. So if I do edit out a whole bunch of this, but you would rather see more of it, let me know. Cause I really like, I'm posting long vlogs because I love watching long vlogs. I am always sad when a vlog ends. Like, if I'm gonna sit down and watch your vlog, it's because I like you and want to hang out with you, and I'm always sad when the vlog is over. I like 30, 45-minute vlogs, but if my favorite vloggers did hour or more vlogs, I would be in absolute heaven. I would binge that. So let me know, I'm curious. Because I always want my vlogs to last, like the vlogs that I watch, I always want them to last longer. I'm gonna get in here in the corner and really spend a little time there, because that likes to fall off. I think like when your eyes water and some of the like the tear fluid gets on them, I think that's why, at least on the outer corner, I think that's why it doesn't last as long. Because I always lose the outer corner or the inner corner first. Hello? I really can't tell if I'm focused or not, so I apologize if the whole thing has been out of focus. All right, last one on the right. Okay, good. And in the next vlog, we're gonna do New Year's resolutions. We're gonna recap last year, tell you some of my favorite things that I manifested and anything that I wanted that I didn't manifest. Because there are a couple of those. I mean, of course, there's how many days? There's like, at this point, there's 10 days left that those things could happen. So I'm still thinking as though they've happened. But if they don't, then I'll report back. And again, the truth of the matter on that is if I failed to have it in 2024, I barely care, because I'm definitely gonna have it at some point, period. So again, I really try, like, I like the idea of having things at manifesting in a time frame, but like I don't really care that much as long as I get it eventually. All right, and the last thing to do is waterproof seal them. All right, I have adhesive still. I'm gonna have to get some makeup remover to get that off, but this is the lash look. Yeah, I love the eyeline. They have a more dramatic eyeline, but since I'm meeting this person for the first time, I'm just gonna do a little bit of a conservative lash today, more of a classic look. Oh, they're so pretty. All right, I'm gonna stop this here and spend the next 45 minutes trying to frantically get ready. I'll be back. I'm actually gonna take you, I think, with me. Obviously not on the date. I think that's tacky, but like to and from the date, I'm gonna bring you with me. I think that'll be interesting and fun. I'll let you know. It's so pretty.
Okay, so this is very popular, obviously. Waiting for their sweet treat.
Love a sweet treat. Just got back from my date, so let's talk about it. It went really well. We had a really nice time, never ran out of things to talk about. He is very golden retriever energy and also like provider protector energy. We rode the metro together at one point, and I have this like weird irrational fear of really steep escalators that go on for a long time, and in Washington, DC, there's a lot of those, and so he immediately was not judgmental, and he was like solution oriented, like, well, if you stand this way and I stand behind you and I make sure that you don't fall, will that make you feel safer? And I was like, yes, that is the energy. That is the energy we want. And he was just like that in just about every aspect the whole evening. At the end of the night, he helped me find the metro that I needed to get home. And when we found out that the metro was being worked on and closed down for the night, he was like, you know, you've got to get up early for the game tomorrow. Let me just put you in an Uber, and that way you won't have to worry about anything. And I was like, yes, that is the energy. Thank you so much. And he already locked down our second date. We are going to go see a movie on Christmas. And that's great because I had already planned on seeing a movie for Christmas. And he's Jewish, so he doesn't, like, Christmas is like just a day for him. And he said it's apparently a very Jewish tradition to go out for movie watching on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, which I'm not Jewish, so I didn't know that. And the only thing that isn't on my love list, either superficially or like emotionally, spiritually, that he is it's a very Shira 7 sprinkle situation. He is about 25 years older than me. I was not looking for that specifically. I just put the minimum age that I would be willing to tolerate in a person on Hinge and just left the upper range of the age upper. So like, I think I put 45 to 99. And so he happens to be 25 years older than me. He's very fit and active and smart and kind and funny and very with it. It's just a new dynamic that I've never experienced. I've never been with a man that much older than me before. But he's serving provider right now. And I mean, who knows? What is nice is that he's reflecting back to me everything about my self-concept that I've been working on and that I have been embodying. And that is great news because it means that those thoughts are becoming dominant and pushing their way out. He's very growth oriented. He also, I think in his own way, without really calling it manifesting, practices manifesting. He's got a great outlook on life. And I'm very pleased with how the night went. We're gonna hang out in a few days and go see a movie together and see how that goes. So that is the report on my night with Schnookums. I just got back from the game and I'm door dashing Chinese takeout with hot soup and chicken fried rice because I spent all day at the game in like 30-degree weather. I'm so cold and my body still hasn't warmed up yet, and I've been home for a minute. Yeah. Ooh, okay. I'm definitely ordering like 4 things. I'm gonna have food for multiple days. Do y'all do that too? Like if you get takeout, do you order like way more takeout than you could eat in like a meal or 2 and then just end up having food for like a week? I do that if I get Chinese food. I do that if I get Indian food. Do y'all do that? I don't know if that's weird or if that's like, yeah, of course, why wouldn't you do that? All right, order. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. Okay. It's like 2 blocks away from my house, so it should get to me soon. I'm so hungry. Okay, anyways, focus. So the game was a lot of fun. The band was part of this like Netflix partnership with the Washington Commanders. And so we played the Squid Game theme during one of the timeouts. And they gave us these amazing beanies. Like, I'm obsessed with this. It is like every bit as bright pink as it looks, at least in the viewfinder. It is shocking pink. And it says Squid Game 2 because the 2nd season is coming out on December 26th. And on the back of the hat, it says Netflix and it's all embroidered. It's like a really nice, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the beanie. So we wore the beanie while we played the theme song. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. The game was a lot of fun. We ended up winning against the Eagles, which most people didn't think we were gonna do, but I'm telling you this because this has to do with manifesting. Something's making weird noises. Okay, because it has to do with manifesting. So when I first joined the marching band, everybody was saying like how last year, like it's a lot of fun, but like we never win any games, and like we lost, I guess, every single home game last year. And the only times the band plays is at the home games. We don't travel, we just play at home. And so I had this idea at the beginning of the season that I was gonna be like, I'm their good luck charm. Every game that I'm at, they're gonna win. I don't care what happens at the other games, but like if I'm there, they're gonna win. And if you follow football at all, which I don't, but if you do, you might know that we've actually been winning this year. The only home game that we didn't win, there was a like security concern, and so they made the band leave the stands at the 2-minute warning, and that is when we lost the game, was in the final 2 minutes. So I'm just saying, I thought it would be a fun thing to manifest. Like, yeah, I'm their good luck charm. Of course they're gonna win if I'm there. And so far, every game that I've been at, we've won, including today when we were not favored to win. And we won it in like the last 10 seconds. It was a really good game. So, I don't know, I just do fun things like that. Just to see. Can I manifest some craziness? Just to see. So yeah, so I'm pretty proud of that one. It's been a lot of fun. The games are awesome. So it's been a really interesting week from a manifesting perspective. There's been like health stuff, there's been friendship stuff, manifesting health for other people, football game wins when we were not expected to win, and SP successes when, I mean, not to say that when I least expected it, but like there was unexpected types of movement in my 3D that I wasn't expecting to get movement in those ways at that time, which is so fun. Like, I love watching it unfold. Like, I'm seeing the movie when I know the end. Like, someone spoiled the end for me, which is I have the most amazing life ever and the happiest relationship, like my dream relationship, my dream life, and someone spoiled the movie for me, and so I'm seeing the middle for the first time. I love that. I think it's so much fun. And so like this week, you know, I had a great time talking with Pookie and getting some of our, you know, we've had some discussions about us. And again, like, I'm not necessarily sold on a particular outcome with Pookie. I care about him deeply, and I think I would equally love to have a meaningful friendship with him as I would if he came in saying that he wanted to give me everything that I'd want in a relationship. And I went from feeling very sad to feeling pretty good about things. And today I feel even better. And I had a great date with Schnookums. Oh, I didn't tell you this. I don't think I told you this. When we got to the restaurant that he made reservations at, like we came and we checked in and he was asking like, can we have a table in a quiet area, all this stuff. And then the hostess was like, happy anniversary. And he looked at me like, and he was like, I'll explain that. And apparently when he made the reservation, he told them it was our anniversary because like if they do anything like extra or nice for that, he wanted them to do that for us. But he wasn't expecting them to like greet him with happy anniversary at the check-in. So that was hilarious. And yeah, it's been a great week. I got asked out on another date by a man that I had been talking to that I hadn't heard anything from since like it's probably been about 3 weeks or so. And he asked me out on a date. Ironically enough, he asked if I wanted to go see Nosferatu on Christmas, which I already have plans to see Nosferatu on Christmas with Schnookums. And so that's just funny to me. And then I had a guy in the marching band. I'm gonna have to start like getting a list of pet names. So we got Pookie's Original Man, we got Schnookums, and then what should we call the marching band guy? I'm gonna look up some boyfriend pet names, some men pet names. What is this list? Darling, Stud Muffin, Boo Bear, Baby, Mr. Man, Sweets, Bubba, Captain. Who comes up with these lists? Tater Tot. I'll call him Tater Tot. Little marching band boy, I'll call him Tater Tot. He's very sweet. He asked me out on a date. Like situations, all of these circumstances are opening up and blossoming in such a way that is so fun to see because I know the end. I know that my dream relationship is mine. It's in progress now. It is already done. It is happening. And to get to experience the emotions, like the joy, the intrigue, and even the sadness, I just love it. I think if you can separate your desperation from your manifesting journey and just look at it from a standpoint of interest and intrigue and curiosity, things can be so much fun. I just think it's great. And if you're at the point in your manifesting journey where you feel like you've hit a wall in terms of what you have been able to bring in for yourself and the way that you're interpreting that you may be watching, if you feel like you want a deeper dive, but you don't necessarily want personal coaching, I am putting together a course that is going to be open in January 2025. At least that's the plan right now. And the whole point of the course is to give you the tools to be able to coach yourself so that you don't have to wait on availability of a coach. You don't have to, try and tell them the whole story, knowing that you can't get all of the like subtle details and context into the conversation for them. It's really best if you can learn how to coach yourself through the circumstances of your life and through your own manifesting journey. And if you want to get an idea of what that's going to be like, my website has a free training up right now that you can go, and it will give you like the high level overview of everything that I'll be teaching in the course. And that may be enough for you to be like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing now. Or it will be a high level overview of what's going to be offered in the course. And then you can move forward and join the course that's open in January. The website is in the description. It's dreamlifeconsciousness.com. And then there are some affiliate and some non-affiliate. There are some coupons available. So if there's anything that you saw in the vlog that you wanted to get or learn more about, the websites and the links and everything are down in the description box below. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the vlog. I welcome your comments. I welcome your questions. I would love to answer a question of the day in the next vlog. You can ask me something about myself, or you can ask me something about manifesting, and I will pick one and answer it in the next vlog if I get some responses. I'm really happy to be sharing my life with you in the context of manifestation because it has been such an important game changer for me. I intend that you will get exactly what you need from being here and watching my content. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.